Please join me in the Pledge of Allegiance. I pledge allegiance to the flag of the United States of America and to the republic for which it stands, one nation, under God, indivisible, with liberty and justice for all. Roll call.
President Balch.
Here.
Trustee Lambert. Trustee Martin.
Here.
Trustee Pierce.
Here.
Trustee McManus and Trustee Wishaw are excused.
Thank you. One minute in and we got that going.
There it is.
Awesome.
Wouldn't be a Caledonia meeting without a vote for break.
All right. Can I get a motion to approve the minutes of the special village board meeting from June 30th, 2026?
I'll make a motion to approve special board meeting of June 30th, 2026.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Any opposed? Minutes are approved. May I have a motion to approve the minutes from the village board meeting on July 7th, 2026?
I'll make a motion to approve the village board meeting minutes from July 7th, 2026.
I'll second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
All those opposed? Minutes are approved. Okay, we're going to move on to a presentation on the Water's Edge property. Before we get started though, first of all, thank you all for showing up. Obviously, it's of interest to the community, assuming that's why most of you are here anyway. I just want to say, we've heard the message loud and clear that we're ahead of ourselves and we need to make sure that we've got an established vision for the property and we want your feedback. We are, however, sitting on a proposal and we don't want to sit on it any longer. We want you to see it and we want to get your feedback on it. So that's what this is about. It is not the precipice of a big decision we're about to make and force on you. This is a presentation of a proposal that we've been given. We want everyone to see it and we want to get your feedback on it in the open comment, which is why we put the open or public comment after the presentation. Thought that might be a good idea. So that's what this is about. I just wanted to allay any fears if there was anybody here that thought that we were trying to approve something this evening. So with that said, we will welcome our guest to come up and give the presentation on the proposal.
To the village president and village board, commission, committee, employees, as well as residents. Thank you for being here tonight. My name is Nathaniel Lynn, and I'm here on behalf of the Lynn Development Group as well as Scott Crawford, Inc., to present the bluffs at Water's Edge Preserve. Biggest thing is we are, we've seen this property over the last few years, and so we are excited to present a proposal and see if we can move this along. If you will, slide 2. Our summary is the bluff at Water's Edge Preserve is a transformational $92.575 million investment, and that's a private investment that will deliver Caledonia's first luxury preserve-inspired lakefront community. High-quality homes, world-class amenities, conservation, and smart fiscal planning driving generational value. You can go. So you may ask the question, why Caledonia? Well, being in this area is a very strong community. Fiscal management, and so we feel like it's the right place for this. Sustainable growth with a clear vision for the future. The proximity of Caledonia to Milwaukee as well as Chicago and other areas. And the scenic lakefront setting, quality of life. And as a member of the community here, feel like Village of Caledonia has a commitment to responsible development. And so that's why Caledonia. Why this site, again, ties into the previous stunning lakefront property. Again, you walk over and look at that property, and it's an amazing view. And so we feel like that if you take the right approach, then you could come out with something really beautiful for that property. For us is, as we have done this design, we factored in the natural beauty and the environment stewardship of this. So making sure that the bluffs, the wetland, the landscape, the storm management, all those things were factored into the design. The other big piece of this is the property is near schools, park, local amenities. And so again, an area that you can grow with. Lastly, an ideal setting for a legacy investment. And so with this location and with the right building, this will move this into the future. Next slide, please. And then the project vision. As we go into this, as I've said again, the natural beauty, the thoughtful design. So as you see into this presentation, you'll see that each thing that we did, we factored into the design, the current layout, and where buildings should be located at. And so all those things are taken in consideration. Again, it's a community focus, making sure that the way this property is going to be designed is a resort style property, amenities, very high level, very classic. And so that's the objective here. Again, it's a $92.575 million project. So bringing value to Caledonia for the future. The partnership piece of it, and you're good there. Getting to the layout of this, as you can see, this is the 20.1 acres that is out there currently. And the way that this will be laid out is if you're on water edge up front, so you're going to have 3 different categories of properties. You'll have villas, townhomes, as well as the condo. On that front road there, you're going to have the villas. And that's actually 5 villas that will line that front row. And then if you go into that next row, you're going to have a total of 4 townhomes. But then you have 2 sets of townhomes near the lakefront. The central point of this is in the center. So if you're coming off of Water Edge Road, the pool, the clubhouse, that's the focal point of this property. So we want where if a person was coming in off of Water Edge, if a person was coming in off the side road, if you're familiar with that property, leading into this property, that pool clubhouse is where we feel like everything will take place. There will be 3 buildings, condo buildings on this property. We factored in the wetlands, we factored in the storm management piece, all of those things we built around that. The other piece of this is there will be a tennis court, pickleball court, as well as a place for your 4-legged dog. So there's a station where you can take the dog off the leash and let him run and have fun, because we want this to be a community. We want people to come here, stay, and feel like they're at home. Next slide, please. This is just basically a continuation of previous talking about why we're doing this site design, preserve and protect the mature trees, the wetland, the storm water management piece. As we laid this out, our goal was that all owners would have a lake view or a view of the lake. So we strategically laid the buildings out in a way that everyone should be able to have a view of the lake. The other piece of that is the walkable community. Making sure that the way the open space is laid out, it's an area where people can walk in and enjoy the site. As I've said several times, it will be a resort-style living. We're going to use high-end material, very quality, because we want people to come and feel like it's a high-end place that they're moving to. The other piece of this is a gated entry. So from a privacy and security standpoint, that the piece on the water edge and the side road, those will be privacy gates. So the community will be able to enter the trail from side roads, but they will not actually be able to go inside this section. The other piece of this is just long-term value. We feel like the investment that will be made will create long-term value for this area. Next slide, please. And as we talked about amenities, you'll have clubhouse and lounge. And in that clubhouse, there will be space for meetings. There will be space for events. And so we want it to be family, feel like family. There will be a pool, sun deck. The vision right now is a type of cabana set up for the pool and sun deck area. As I said, tennis court, pickleball, walking trail, space for your dog, and community space if someone just wants to go out and lounge. Next slide, please. Now we'll get into the heart of how this actually will look. So there will be a total of 119 units. 72 of those units, condos, 28 villas, 19 townhomes. Looking back under the condo, you will have 1, 2, or 3 bedroom options. The reason why you may ask, okay, what's the different variation? We feel like the market that is going to look at these condos, you're going to have empty nesters, professionals, retirees, families that want to come. And so we wanted to be able to meet all those different needs and accommodate the different families. Next, please. As I said, the type of material that we'll use. So we'll use stone, wood, high quality finishes that complement the landscape. The goal is from a strategic standpoint, placement of these properties so everyone will have a view of Lake Michigan. A classic roof line. So again, the type of material that we will use will be very high end. But again, we've spent time putting consideration in what's the appropriate type of material to build the kind of buildings that should be on this property. Energy efficient design, material. So again, that will be a key focus of as we're building what's the smart way to build these properties. Next slide, please. This right here begins to go into the project phasing and development strategy. And you'll see a similar slide to this, probably 5 or 6, but each one will serve a purpose. So as you're looking at this, these are the different phases. So there will be 4 phases into this process. Phase 1 is foundation, and that first phase is about constructing building 1, and that's a total of 28 units. The clubhouse and amenities, pool and sun deck, and then the infrastructure. So initially what you would see is infrastructure taking place. Once that piece has been taking place, then the building of the construction of that very first building. The way the process looks here, if you look right below that, you'll see estimated start, so Q4 2026. The way that we would perceive this is Q, and if I use Q, I'm a banker by trade. So Q4 is what I'm referencing to. So Q4 of 2026. But Q3 of 2026 would be the time that we would be spending with the village, engineering, all those different folks getting through that process. So by the end of Q4 2026, we are ready to go into construction phase of Q1 2027. We would expect to be done with phase 1 foundation Q4 2027. And so at that point, the first 28 units would be available for sale on that property. Next is phase 2, the expansion. So there, start of the villas, start of building 2. Continue to work through the trails as well as the underground parking for building 1. So again, there will be underground parking for the condos. The villas as well as the townhomes will have garages. And As we get further, you'll see that in one of the pictures. Going on to phase 3, well, let me step back for just a second. Beginning of the start for phase 2 expansion, Q1 2028. Completion of that is Q4 2028. And so at that point, we would be ready to release phase 2 of the condos, as well as the villas, as well as getting ready for the townhomes. Phase 3, we call that the growth phase. And once I finish this, I'll kind of explain why we're doing this in phase. The villas would take place at that time, as well as the remaining townhomes. The tennis court, pickleball court, underground parking for building 2 would occur in phase 3. Again, the start of that is start of Q4. Excuse me 1 second, guys. So going back to phase 3, Q1 2029, and then having those properties completed, ready for fourth quarter 2029. The final phase, phase 4, the completion, condo building 3, townhomes, final infrastructure, landscaping, all of those types of things. And again, this project starts 2026, it goes into 2031, and some of 2032. So it's a process. And the reason why we're doing it in phases, we want to have it where, let's say from a marketing standpoint or from a demand standpoint, things aren't moving as quickly as expected. We can phase each one of these into the building part of it versus all of these buildings completed, but they're sitting there empty. And so that was the whole consideration taken as to how to phase this in. Next slide. Okay. Again, as I've said previously, this is a private $92,575,000 project. Total of 119 units, under 20 acres, underground parking for all the buildings, 4 phases. And what this does is just provide you with the breakdown of the use of funds. So the proposal that would be submitted for the land acquisition would be $5 million. Site work and infrastructure, $8 million. Resident construction, $54 million. Underground parking, $4 million. Clubhouse amenity, $4 million. Soft costs, $5.57 million. Contingency, $4.5. Financing and interest, $7.5. So that's how we arrived at the $92.575 million. And as you can see, the breakdown of everything. We'll go into more details, but if you look on the right-hand side where it says capital structure, from a financing standpoint, construction loan about $45 million, limited partnership, equity $23 million, hybrid TID, so tax incremental district. That is what we would be requesting from the Village of Caledonia. The $10.57 million developer, other sources. Again, that gets us to our $92.575 million. Next slide, please. And the way that the TID will work is it's what you call a hybrid TID. So upfront, $5 million, and that would be the piece to go ahead and get the infrastructure, the land, all of those things moving, and so we can start the building phase of it. Then the $9 million is what you call pay to go. And so those dollars would be reimbursed as we complete certain things, bringing it to that total of the $14 million for the total hybrid TID support. And again, this just kind of gives you a breakdown of percentages, different things like that. Next slide, please. On this slide here, again, just ratios, going over the same numbers that we previously talked about, what type of financing, the breakdown to get to that magical number of $92.575 million. Next slide, please. And again, as you can see, the phasing benefits, it will help us manage the risk, optimize cash flow, and just minimize the disruption as to how we're doing the construction piece of it. Next slide, please. This slide here, we'll get into the phasing development overview. So again, phase one, condo, clubhouse, amenity, total of 28 units. That cost is about $33 million. That would start Q 2026. That will take approximately 12 months to complete that first phase. We move to phase two, condo building 2, as well as at that point, we're going to look at the second building for condos and the 16 villas. So in this phase 2, you're going to have 44 units. That costs about $31 million. Start Q 2027. That will take about 15 months to get through that process. Phase 3, villas and townhomes. So you're going to have, in phase 3, there's 19 units. So 12 villas, 17 townhomes to occur. And that costs us about $13 million. And that would start Q1 2029. That whole piece, because some other things will be involved in that, will take about 18 months.
It's 142.
Phase 4, which is the completion phase, the 16 final condos and the 12 townhomes. If you go to the project timeline, that gives you a general idea of what will start when the phase completes and when we expect everything to be absolutely done. Next slide, please. The economic impact and community benefits. So from this project, we're expecting 450 construction jobs, 35 permanent jobs, because what ultimately would happen with this complex is that you're going to need a property manager to come in and manage these condos. So there will be employees that will be there to maintain this property. The ultimate total tax base expansion is $120 million to the village of Caledonia. The annual economic output, 6.2 million. Again, total units, 119. Our focus, the environmental stewardship, we want to build around wetlands. We want to build around the storm. We want to build around mature trees and keep all those things in place. Quality of life. This you've heard me talk about quite a bit of the environment stewardship. So preserve and protect. We want to protect the wetlands. The type of landscape we will use is what we call native landscaping. And what that will do is reduce the water usage, the ecosystem, just being conservative from that standpoint. Focusing on having a sustainable stormwater management system in place, energy efficient building material, responsible material, and sustainable amenities. So again, as we did this project, everything was about, okay, the environment piece first, and we build around it. Next slide, please. Again, this is the timeline. So as you heard me speak of earlier, Q3 2026 would be paperwork, partnership agreement, getting approval into Q4 2026. Q1 2027 is when you would expect construction to start. So at that point, we would have already begun the infrastructure of the property and we would start the construction phase at that point. Q4 of 2027, phase one will be completed based on Schedule F. Again, we can't predict weather and those type of things. But as you can see, full build out 2030, 2031. Next slide, please. Okay. This slide here is just kind of talk about collaboration, working together with the village, being innovative as we work through the process of making this happen, and the stewardship, protecting those resources, protecting that property, focusing on the community. For us, the community is a big piece of this. We want the community to be involved as we're doing this, in that we want to be very disruptive of the construction pertaining to the community. From a legacy standpoint, building a premier lakefront community that future generations will be proud of. Next slide, please. Again, just the phasing piece of it. And the reason why you see 4 or 5 slides about this piece, it will be huge from a standpoint of how we work through this process, getting things approved, getting phase one taken care of, because if we hit phase one the correct way, then phase 2, phase 3, phase 4 will occur very seamless. And so we want everybody to understand how this is going to occur, when to expect construction to start, when to start seeing buildings out there, and those types of things. Next slide, please. Again, phase 1, planning, early delivery, getting the approval. So we understand this is going to be a process. We know that it's not going to just happen overnight. So that's the reason why you see that 26 to 28 as we go through this whole process. Continued residential delivery, additional condos, the villas begin, the clubhouse, those types of things. Community growth. So again, what we're asking here, and the reason why I'm presenting, is from a standpoint of developing a partnership with the Village of Caledonia, getting the approval, the support of the community, and just working together to build on the property something that the community can be proud of and something that the community wants. Next slide, please. And so these are just our project team. So we have an architect that we will be working with, a civil engineer, landscape architect, financial advisor, managing the cash flow, as well as a legal team, taking us through this entire process. Next slide, please. And at that point, just wanted to say thank you for allowing me to present. Don't know if there's questions.
I think, Ken, do you have an opinion there? Should we do? Do we want to do board Q&A first, or can we go to public comment and come back to board Q&A?
Sorry. It's really up to you as the chair to decide, Mr. President, from a procedural standpoint. The agenda is set up for a presentation, which would, of course, include any questions and interaction with the developer. If you wanted to allow public comment now, you could do that, but the agenda is set up for the Q&A with the board now.
Okay. Well, I do have one question. Can you go back to slide 11?
Yes.
President, could you use your microphone? We can't hear you. Thank you.
Can you go back to slide 11, please? Okay, thank you. No questions. I just wanted to, there was something that caught my eye as it went by, and it went by too fast, but now I see it. I'm good. So if we don't have any questions immediately, we can go to public comment, and then if that spawns any questions, we'll come back to the board questions.
Okay, I have a question, but the public might have it too,
Yeah.
so I'm.
Okay.
wait.
I think I would have maybe some questions, but I think there's more to develop before I throw them
Okay.
out there.
All right, so we're going to move into public comment. Provides a 2-minute opportunity for citizens to voice opinions to the village board. The village board cannot respond as this may conflict with open meeting requirements.
Mr. President, just for procedural purposes, I would recommend that you table agenda number 5A to be taken up again after public comment.
Okay,
I will make a motion to table item 5A to post public commentary.
Second.
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Any opposed? Motion passes. So we've
Just so
tabled,
you all know, this is a different procedure than we've typically done. So usually, you have to have the comments first, then you get the presentation, which frustrates everybody because you haven't had the presentation to ask questions about. So if we seem like we're fumbling around a little bit, we are. We're just trying a new thing.
okay, so 5A is tabled. We're going to move into public comment. We are not limited here in public comment to just this proposal. So I know that we have at least one person that's here to talk about something other than that.
Do we want to take that
Um,
first?
Do-
Several. I'm going to take them in order. That's what we generally do.
Okay, we can take them in order. That's fine with me. So we're going to go through the list in order. You're going to need to sit down so people can come up to the mic.
Ron Coots?
Mr. President, before we start, I just want something to get clarification. Are we allowed to talk to about this development or
Yes.
not?
Yeah.
Okay.
Absolutely.
I have two things on the agenda. I apologize. I went looking at the ordinance. Now, this is not something I really like to do, but I had an issue that I had to look through our ordinance and check out and see what was wrong. And I found out that we keep talking about ourselves as a town. It's set up in the ordinance. So does that mean that everything we have in the ordinance here compares to the town that we used to be, which I was on the board at that time? So I don't know why that wasn't changed way back when. The other issue that I have, whoever came up with the idea of putting this little sticker up in front, it covers up all the ordinances which you're reading. When you start reading the ordinance, I can pass it around. When you start reading the ordinance, you can't read, it doesn't give you the full ordinance.
That's another website design.
So if I'm going to challenge the ordinance, it doesn't do me any good. I just want to make that point, if that can be addressed. Now, first I want to talk about the presentation. I appreciate the presentation tonight. I've been through 4 of these devils, and it's been interesting. We started off first with this beautiful development along Water's Edge, along the lake, and development. We're going to sell these condos. Everything was going to be great. It didn't happen. Then another one came along. Guy went bankrupt. And we went through another process. We went through all these processes. It sounds wonderful, the presentation, but the problem I look at is you got traffic issues on Erie Street that's going to be picked up. Another issue is now we're on a TIF. So we're going to be sitting out here for at least 30 years before we develop getting any money from that TIF, which is kind of, okay, we want to beautify that area. I have no problem with that. But as we keep on talking about, we're going to do this, we're going to do that, that's presentation, that's great. But it never happens. Something happens, we turn around, and then we let this person here, we had a quarry there. We had stones sitting there getting developed out of there, going up and down Erie Street with trucks. Like I said, before we go any farther, there's a lot of issues that we have to address. You have to address. I think we need to look at. Again, one of these issues I have is the TIF. I know it helps the village of Caledonia a lot, but I think we need to look at it closely before we go any farther. Thank you very much.
Thank you very much. Yeah.
Okay, John Peterson?
I will be speaking specifically to ordinances, or number 7A and B on the agenda? Okay. Good evening, everyone. Thank you for taking the time to be here. Today, I ask for your support and approval of our church's new school addition. This project is more than just an expansion of a building. It is an investment in our children, our families, and the future of our church community. The addition will provide much-needed space for learning, growth, and faith formation, allowing us to better serve current students and welcome new families. By approving this project, we are creating opportunities for future generations to receive strong education rooted in Christian values. Together, we can build a lasting legacy that strengthens both our school and the church's mission. I respectfully ask for your vote of approval and your continued support as we move forward in faith. Thank you.
Thank you very much.
Doug White.
Hi, I'm Doug White. I'm the president of the Village of Raymond. I was here a couple months ago. So I understand you're going to talk about our cross-border agreement tonight in closed session. I just wanted to come back out and talk a little bit about that, and I've got one of our trustees, Mark Galhouse, here with us, sitting in the second row there. So just as a reminder, and I won't go into too much detail, but back in 2009, you guys were a village, we were a town. And there was, valid concern on our part about having the land along the interstate annexed into Caledonia. So our lawyer, working with you guys, drafted up this contract that is incredibly one-sided, but we felt the need to preserve, our space along the interstate there. And there's one sentence in there that says, this agreement will last in perpetuity. And if he would have just added, or until Raymond becomes a village, we wouldn't be in this situation, but we are where we are. So in 2019, we became a village. So the concern about being annexed, went away, but that agreement is filed with the Department of Administration in Madison. So from their perspective, that agreement exists as it's written today. So I spent the last year, quite honestly, working with anybody that'll talk to me about it, and Todd and Tim Pruitt and our lawyers. And I think we're to a point here where we have something that's amenable to both parties. And I'll just tell you what the first one is, and I'll let Todd talk to you in the closed session about what the second one is. But this is our land use map, adopted in 2024, and I expect you guys had to approve it. But everything, this is the interstate, and this is just about a mile in to 43rd Street. So all this in purple, we have designated for business parks. All this in red is commercial, gas stations, that kind of stuff. And all of this in orange is higher density residential. Because one of the biggest issues we have is declining enrollment in our schools. One of the biggest issues the county has is attainable housing. And when we say attainable housing, we're talking $350,000-ish type houses. Then, the average teacher, policeman, fireman cannot afford to buy a house, at least in Raymond right now. So anyhow, that's our goal, and that's what we're committing to as part of this dissolving the resolution. Again, I'll let Todd talk about the second part of it when you guys are in closed session. But I do appreciate you guys listening to us, considering it, and we're just looking to be able to control our own destiny. And I will tell you, when you look at them, whether you like that proposal or not, there's a lot of work that goes into doing that stuff. A lot of time and money gets spent doing that stuff. And it's hard to go to a developer and say, invest millions of dollars, you'll get our approval. No, by the way, you got to go across the highway and get their approval too. They're just hesitant to make that kind of investment and have to get two boards. It's hard enough to get one board to approve something, let alone two. So anyhow, again, I appreciate that, and we'll look forward to your decisions. Thank you.
Thank you.
Angelo Trenadu.
Hi, my concern is that no action be taken tonight. The full village board wasn't here for the presentation. So I know the village board will meet after this meeting, and my concern is that they would go ahead and approve something. Usually it's customary for this to be already online, and we would have been able to preview it, and for some reason it wasn't. And so we would have had more of a chance to look it over and have something to do. And it would have been nice to be able to talk with the developer, for us to have questions about the project. One thing that came up for me was, are these the part of those condos considered rentals? As it was mentioned, there will be property managers. He had mentioned that, and when he said property managers, I got the feeling that these were going to be rentals. So I urge the board not to take any action tonight and give us a chance to fully digest everything that he has. Thank you.
Thank you.
Michael Caddow. Cheryl Kepser.
First, I just wanted to say, boy, I think that's a lot of property units to put out. As Mr. Coots said, we have so much traffic on Erie, and not a lot of patrol because there's so much speeding and everything. It's crazy up there on Erie. I live on Kentwood, and the one thing I wanted to ask though is we have a very old sign for. Neighborhood Watch, and the sign is really bad. And I was wondering if we could get another one for that area. And that was it.
Thank you.
Thank you.
Wendy Johnson.
Good evening. I'm Wendy Johnson, 825 Waters Edge Road. And I want to say first, thank you for the opportunity and the transparency tonight in allowing us to hear a presentation about Waters Edge before any decisions are made. I greatly appreciate it, as I know our other residents do as well. So my comments tonight are really focused on helping myself and residents better understand the process being used to evaluate the proposals, starting with this first one. I'm assuming there are others, and ensuring that this important village-owned property is considered thoughtfully and in best long-term interest of the community. First, I would like to appreciate an understanding of how the proposals were solicited and how developers were selected. Was there an open request for proposal process, or were these opportunities developed through existing contacts? Were there established criteria used, or that we should, as a board and a community, use to evaluate this and any other proposals? Second, I understand that this proposal includes approximately $14 million in TIF assistance. Many residents, like myself, are interested in understanding what that investment would actually support in our community, how that amount was determined, and what measurable benefits the community would receive in return for such a large investment. What financial analysis has been completed to demonstrate that this project even needs that level of assistance? For residents trying to understand the TIF component, could the village explain the basis for determining that this project even qualifies for TIF assistance per the state? I know at one time it did. We had a blighted property. It's since been cleaned up. It's a prime piece of real estate now. Does it even still meet state qualifications for TIF assistance? Finally, since the property does not currently have current zoning established, how will the village evaluate whether the proposed density and type of development for this location is consistent with the village's long-term planning goals and the surrounding neighborhood? This is a significant decision for Caledonia. I appreciate all of the work, and thank you, sir, for presenting tonight. And I believe that the residents all share one common goal, and that's to make sure that whatever decision we make is in the best long-term interest of our community. Thank you very much.
Thank you.
Paige Pekosh.
Hi,
everybody. My name is Paige Peacosh. I just came from work and didn't realize that I have 2 minutes to talk, so I kind of threw together some thoughts. I live approximately 1,000 feet west of this property on Water's Edge. On 5 Mile is where I live. So first and foremost, I am aware that it is a difficult property and a situation, so thank you for that. I know it cannot be easy. I know the village would like to earn their money back in a perfect world. Homeowners that aren't directly associated or perhaps near the property have certain ideas, and those such as myself that are right there have probably very different ideas than others. I know we take pride in keeping the village rural, and even to the extent of declining a data center, a process that is unheard of to many folks outside of the village. So I could be an echo chamber and tell you exactly how we want perhaps a park, more specifically any public space for those that already reside here, but I do understand and acknowledge that that'll bring the village little to no money, but I do also need to point out the lack of infrastructure surrounding the property. Respectfully, I do know that the proposal was likely not written by those local to the village or even in the square miles surrounding the area. So I wish that a few things be considered by the board. Number one, how those who live on the property travel to and from it. Water's Edge and 5 Mile have little to no room for traffic, and if they do, it is not without disrupting residents. Secondly, 5 Mile is being finished through all the way to Douglas, which is great for some folks like me, but it is likely going to make it even more of a racetrack, more than it already is, and we do have multiple law enforcement officers living on the road, and that doesn't really seem to play a role in anything in making people slow down. Additionally, guests on properties. I have lived in an apartment before. I know how guests work. There's typically limited parking. Guests will likely have to search for a location to park outside of the property. Where does this put them? I do like and appreciate that there is a gate, but for those who don't have access to it and are perhaps visiting, I think that that's food for thought. Lastly, I support Angelo, and I wish that no action be taken tonight, and if somehow possible, seek input from those, maybe within a square mile of the property or those that are more local to it, if not just for peace of mind, for the good of the village, because if the most recent condos failed, I am uncertain what will make this any different. And that is coming from a homeowner that's looking to build a family here. So I appreciate your time.
Thank you.
That concludes the list of people who have signed up.
Are there any others that would like to speak? And we've been failing on our name and address thing at the podium. Yeah,
So,
the new guy's fault. It's all right.
Paula Pintar, 7348 Bodding Road. I wasn't anticipating commenting this evening, but from the presentation, and thank you, I appreciate your time. I appreciate the board presenting this. This is regarding Water's Edge, obviously. And as I listened to the comments of other citizens, some of the things resonated that I just wanted to voice my concern. And number one, I think, is just traffic. I think there's a lot of evaluation that has to be thought through before this goes to any kind of a vote. And I appreciate the board forthcoming and saying this is not a decisional meeting this evening, but there are a lot of impact factors, I think, around this development. And the gentleman identified that, it's keeping with the community's needs. Well, I don't think the community's needs have been addressed or sought out, and I may be wrong on that. I think aligning with our community environment, so having a gated community, as it was referenced, is going to be different for Caledonia. And I also see similar community north of us in Oak Creek, and many of those, it's along the lakefront, and many of those units are still empty, and they've been built for quite some time. So I'm wondering where we think the tenants of these units are going to come from. Is it going to really support our community, or is it outside people coming into our community? The other thing I think that was also mentioned is the construction impact to the surrounding community. This is a long-term project with construction going on until 2030 or 31. So I am very empathetic to the surrounding residents that are going to have to endure that, and what is it going to do to those homeowners. And I think just the developing of constructions of those high-rise, that construction disturbance, what is it doing to our groundwater and the rest of our environment? And I think the biggest concern for me is Caledonia getting into another TID project. We have not completed any of our TID projects to the benefit of the community, and so here we are jumping into another one. So I agree with the community, just some additional thoughtful time and energy put into this development. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Oh, what? Hold on one at a time. Don't fight over it. Name and address.
Regina Capelli-Scheid, 7325 Foley Road. So I'm just going to keep this brief. I like to see it kept green. The development looked beautiful. When you mentioned trails, I wondered if you would explain that at all, if there was any public trails. If we are going to build, if we are going to have it be developed, it would be wonderful if some of that property could be used for the public. I would like all the property to be used for the public, but I know that's probably not possible. I was born and raised in Kenosha. They have a wonderful amount of public access to Lake Michigan. It would be nice that the village of Caledonia has public access to Lake Michigan. I live on the west part of more the agricultural part of Caledonia, so that doesn't really impact me that much. But there's so much residential right there that I think in the long run, the 50 years, the 100 years, that if we could retain some of that access, it would be a benefit to Caledonia. Thank you.
Thank you. Name and address.
Hi, Amanda Rice, 1208 5 Mile Road, in the center of all the action. We have, I'm not sure how many homes are going in. That 5 Mile has been open and will go all the way through. But I think it's 150. Am I wrong? Does somebody know? On the other side of Charles, the development that's been going for 60? Okay. So we have that development going on, which has doubled the traffic that goes up and down 5 Mile Road already. And that road is not even going through to Douglas yet. I can't imagine what the traffic is going to be like opening up the other end to 109 units of people. So I am also, I would really love to see the area stay green. We moved here, when we first moved here, I mean, we also went through the other end. We had a dead end and it was all nature and we used to snowshoe in there and now those are all homes. So we've got hit on double ends and this will be number 3. So I'm just asking that we please not vote on this tonight and that I would just like more community involvement truly in this. It's my home. I love it. I don't want to move, but the traffic is already, and we do have police officers on that street and it doesn't matter. So thank you.
Thank you. Is there anyone else that would like to speak? Okay. I'm going to need some help on untabling 5A. Can I just do it?
Technically, you would, somebody would need to make a motion to remove the item from the table, which would need a second and a vote.
Item from the tabling.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion carries. We are untabled. Would you like to come back up so we can ask you some questions? I will start with a couple that were asked by the audience. The first one I wrote down had to do with rentals. Can you address that?
Yeah, there are no rentals, and where the property management piece come in is there will be a homeowners association established
Mhm.
And so that will be with a company that, in most cases, if you're familiar with the HOA, usually a property management company kind of works you work through a property management company. There will be no rentals. All of these are homeowners.
Okay.
The other thing I wanted to add was, I know somebody referenced about parking. There are additional parking spaces on the site. And so there should be no need to park on the road or park in the adjacent neighborhood or anything like that.
Okay, thank you. Any other questions?
I have a question. Yeah, because I think you indicated that 48% of it would be a construction loan.
Yes, 45%.
Okay, and so my understanding is that for loans, construction loans for condos, it's often the case that 50% of them need to be pre-sold. Is that the case
Yeah.
with yours?
Because we're using private funds on the front end of this, then that will allow us to not have to have that requirement in place. So,
Okay, so you don't need to pre-sell.
right. And so that's the reason why that first building won't become available until Q4 2027.
Thank you.
I think in general, I heard some good things. I think the questions of some of the additional potential details are just things we're going to have to noodle on and look at some of the slides and kind of come up with some of the questions. I mean, thank you for that presentation. It is well done. Just so the public knows, we haven't seen this before tonight either. So this is new to all of us to see, and that's why we started out by saying there are no decisions being made tonight. I know some people are concerned about that. This is just, we're learning, you're learning. We want to make sure everybody can hear and learn. And if you have questions after this, send them in to either the village administrator, to any of us. You could reach out to Mr. Lynn directly if you have a comment or a question. I think the question of traffic keeps coming up, and this is an issue more village-wide than even just here. But we hear you. I don't happen to live in that area, but I used to be on this side of town, and I think we want to work on it. I think the other piece that I hear people saying, and it pops in my head, we're talking about a long-term construction project. And I think maybe what the public would like to hear is, at another meeting, what mitigation measures can be taken to keep that feeling of construction traffic constantly rolling down the road to impact the neighborhood? Because this neighborhood is heavily, I call it restricted residential. When you go to drive back in there, it's not like even some of our other suburban neighborhoods. So
That was the reason why we're doing it as a phase, because we want to complete one phase and not have four different buildings, three different buildings going, villas going, townhouses. So by doing it in phases, that should mitigate the traffic flow in and out through that process.
I appreciate that. Thank you.
Yeah.
Mike?
Well, one of the residents did bring up potential of public walking trail or public trail close to the lake. Do you have anything like that?
Yep. So the way that this is designed, if you're on the side of, and I apologize, I'm a Southerner, so
All right.
I'll
All
say.
right. I understand you.
Yep. So if you're facing the lake, to the left of that, there will be a walking trail down that side, and then on the back side, there will be a walking trail. So again, we want to engage the community and bring the community into that project.
Thank you.
The other thing I wanted to share too, I live in this community, so I totally understand the traffic and what's happening on 5 Mile Road and all of it. So do get that.
Thank you.
Any other questions?
Not right now.
Okay, we can now move on from 5A and head into ordinances and resolutions.
Thank you very much for your presentation.
Yeah. And thank you to everyone who came to hear that.
Mhm. And for your good questions.
They don't want to hear about easements.
I don't blame them.
Blame them.
It's going to take a half hour to read them.
Yeah, you can blame Pete for these nice long
Yeah.
titles.
Yeah, it'll go down in his review.
I'm always yelling at him, you take up my agenda with your stupid titles.
Can we take A and B together since they're the same thing?
No, because they're ordinances, separate ordinances.
Whatever.
But once we go to a consent agenda, if we choose to do that, this entire section could be done in one.
I've heard.
Oh.
Would be nice.
I know.
Okay.
And you know, we've got part of the church, we've got two together and then the church vote. But okay.
Yeah, and the
Beside you.
reason, even during, oh, sorry, no, go ahead.
No, we were just chatting. You go ahead.
Like during plan commission, normally would have combined the hearings, but because they're
Yep.
not the exact same parcels.
Here is the original of the storage shop agreement.
Okay.
Signed now by Todd with the original DocuSign. And then I attached the bigger exhibit, you know, just so you have that for your file. Just so it's harder to read. Perfect. So I'll leave that with you. Put that with the resolution.
I'm going to use the gavel to shut people up.
Yeah.
Okay, we're going to get started. If we have people hanging around talking about Water's Edge, can you
Move to the
take it into
lobby.
the lobby? Or we'll call the bouncer.
He's over there. The chief.
Chief.
He's ignoring you.
Can you guys go in the lobby?
Yeah, just go in the lobby.
Talk his ear off in the lobby. All right, we're moving on. Ordinances and resolutions. Here we go. Ordinance 2026-05, adopting an amendment to the multi-jurisdictional comprehensive plan for Racine County 2035 as it pertains to the Village of Caledonia under Section 13-2-1 of the Village's Code of Ordinances by creating Section 13-2-2AA, adding an amendment to the Village's comprehensive plan affecting the two parcels located directly south of 7936 Nicholson Road, parcel ID number blah and blah, Village of Caledonia, containing 14.5 acres more or less, from agricultural, rural residential, and open land to governmental and institutional. Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church of Caledonia, applicant and owner. Is that the Plan Commission and passed 6-0?
I'll make a motion to approve ordinance 2026-05.
Second.
Any discussion?
No.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. The ordinance passes. Okay, here we go. Ordinance 2026-06 to amend zoning districts of the zoning map adopted under Section 16-2-3 of the Code of Ordinances of the Village of Caledonia, approving a request to rezone plus or minus 16 acres from P1 Institutional Park District and A2 Agricultural District to I1 Institutional District for three parcels located directly south of 7936 Nicholson Road, parcel IDs as identified in the agenda. Trinity Evangelical Lutheran Church of Caledonia, applicant and owner. This also passed the Plan Commission 6-0.
Move to approve ordinance 2026-06.
Second.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
No, you can't shut both doors.
You can't
Both
close the
of them or
doors.
just one?
You can ask him to whisper.
Yeah.
Or can we leave
Draw-
one
Can
door
we leave-
open?
Put them in the parking lot.
Elaine,
She's got one door open.
okay.
Okay, so we have a motion and a second?
Yes.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Motion or ordinance passes. Resolution 2026-032, approving an agreement that resolves the administrative appeal filed by Storage Shop USA.
I'll make a motion to approve resolution 2026-032.
Second.
Any discussion? Has it changed at all since we reviewed it? No? Okay, great. If there's no discussion, then all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-069, approving a building, site, and operational plan for proposed vestibule addition and exterior improvements to the industrial building located at 8630 Industrial Drive, Village of Caledonia, Racine County, Wisconsin. Eric Migrin, applicant, Racine Kenosha Plumbers and Steam Fitters Educational Fund owner. Was that Plan Commission and passed 6-0.
Move to approve resolution 2026-069.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Oh, look, only 10 more. Resolution 2026-070, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to execute a drainage easement agreement with the Timothy J. Fitzsimmons and Jessica C. Line Family Trust dated November 18th, 2021.
I'll make
Pass
a,
5-0 Utility District.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-070.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-071, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to execute a stormwater drainage easement agreement with Jeremy and Megan Burmeister.
Move to approve Resolution 2026-071.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-072, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to execute a sanitary sewer easement agreement with TI Investors of Caledonia, LLC.
Move to approve Resolution 2026-072.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-073, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to execute a stormwater and drainage easement agreement with TI Investors of Caledonia, LLC.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-073.
I'll second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-074, approving and authorizing an agreement for engineering consulting services between the Village of Caledonia Utility District, the Village of Caledonia, and Strand Associates Incorporated.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-074.
Second.
Any discussion?
Tony, can you explain briefly what it is?
Sure. This is for Wisconsin Department of Natural Resources MS4 permit for illicit discharge detection and elimination program. They go out and they do the testing at the selected outfalls, and then we have those results reported to the DNR. If we find any type of illicit discharge, we need to react within 24 hours.
So is this something we have to do?
Yes.
Okay. Makes it easy to decide what to do then. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-075, authorizing the payment for claim from Ronald and Jamie Heller.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-075.
Second.
Any discussion? I would like some. Can somebody explain it?
Sure. Mr. and Mrs. Heller live at 3003 Northbridge Drive. They experienced 3 sanitary sewer backups in April. Basically, the dates are in the packet, so they were all in April. Essentially, we went out, we televised it, noticed that there was a sag in the lateral in the right-of-way, and have since repaired it. They've made claims for the work that they did to unclog the lateral prior to our televising.
Any other discussion?
Nope.
All those in favor say aye.
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 Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-076, authorizing the Caledonia Fire Department to purchase an iSimulate Reality Plus ALS training simulator through sole source procurement using EMS Funding Assistance Program FAP support and improvement funds.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-076.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-077, approving a revised bond schedule for the Municipal Court of the Village of Caledonia.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-077.
Second.
Any discussion?
Yeah, Elaine, can you, are we doing this because we're required to? Why are we doing that?
There's a couple of reasons. One, there was some cleanup in relation to the ranges under your current code. So to make sure that those match and marry for purposes of bonds. This schedule is the schedule that the officers use when they issue a ticket in terms of the amount that goes on the citation that's being issued. The judge still has authority within the ranges within your code. But then secondly, there's an increase to court costs by statute that the village is able to take advantage of to be able to help pay for the operation of your municipal court.
Thanks.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Resolution 2026-078, authorizing the Village of Caledonia to enter into a lease agreement with the Racine Area Soccer Association, Inc. for property located off Dunkelo Road. Parcel ID is in the agenda.
I'll make a motion to approve Resolution 2026-078.
Second?
Any discussion?
Yeah, where's this property? I didn't think we owned any more property out that way.
We do. Yes, we do. This is property that the utility district purchased in the mid to late 90s for a potential future regional detention basin. Due to some of the improvements that were done in the Prairie Pathways area and other areas to the west, that basin essentially is not needed at this time. It may be needed in the future, but up to this point, it hasn't been required. So we still hold on to the land. RASA essentially runs their soccer program on their land that they have around it, and it's just kind of a mutual benefit for everybody.
And it's going to get us $1 a year.
Are you guaranteeing we're going to get $1?
We
We'll
don't
hold
It's
you
in
to
the
it.
agreement.
We're
don't
gonna
have
hold
to
you
cut
to
it.
Huh?
We don't have to cut it.
Oh, so see, there's a double
That's
benefit.
right. There you go. Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Resolution passes. Okay, new business. A, approval of AP checks.
Oh, who's got those dollar amounts?
I do.
Good.
I just have to find them.
Because, wait. Here.
Okay. You want to do the honors?
Yeah. Move to approve payments in the amount of $1,663,881.60.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
There were a couple of bills that are in there that I noticed. I've asked some questions on them, but I note that we've got like 6,500 for Ehlers. I understand now about Landmark Structures that that's tied into the lovely water tower out on Adams Road. And then I was looking at some of the Pruitt bills, but you know, we're getting through some of it.
Any other discussion? All those in favor say aye.
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 Okay,
Checks are approved.
I move to approve credit card charges in the amount of $44,904.51.
Second.
Any discussion? All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
They are approved. Okay, selection of trustee seat
No,
number.
no, no, no.
Oh, sorry.
C.
Pardon?
C.
C.
Liquor license.
Oh, the
You
liquor
have
license.
a draft. You have a draft.
Sneaking stuff in on me.
Right here.
Approval of Class B liquor license, 3 Acres LLC, 5844 Douglas Avenue.
Oh, move to approve the liquor license for, wait, where is it? 3 Acres LLC, 5844 Douglas Avenue.
I'll second.
Any discussion?
If it meets Jen's criteria, she's done all the research.
All
Last,
those-
last I heard, they were approved a conditional occupancy by the building department, and that was the last check I was waiting
Is this the, what we think of as Hickory Hall?
Yes.
Location,
it
yeah.
is. So the good news is there's going to be a restaurant there.
Again. All right.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Okay, 8D, selection of trustee seat number 2, candidates for interviews to be held on August 4th, 2026. The purpose of this is to agree on the process that we're going to use to select. We got 12 candidates, which is fantastic. But that means we need to winnow them down to a manageable number for the interviews and then define the process for that winnowing down and then define the process for moving to the next step to get to a choice. So I have a suggestion, which you are all agreed to poo-poo if you don't like, but I am going to suggest that to get, we want to get from 12 down to 4 interviews. So I'm going to ask that each board member provide a top 5 list in rank order. Provide that to Jen so she can score them, because they'll be scored such that your first choice gets 5, your second choice gets 4, your third choice gets 3, your second choice gets 2, your last choice gets 1. And we will then combine all of that scoring to determine who the top 4 scorers are, so that we can pick those 4 for interviews to be had on August 4th. So I'll pause there and say, does that first make sense to everybody?
Yes, and I think also, though, we're missing 2 trustees. So
They're
are
just
we,
not here.
are they just,
They're just not
So
here.
my suggestion, if this is okay per open meeting things, that those rank order lists be sent to you by each trustee. Not necessarily right here and now. We'll send you our list, you'll score them, we'll determine who the top 4 are, and we will notify them that for the August 4th meeting, we'll be doing the interviews.
can we do that, Elaine? We're okay with that?
I've never seen that happen, so a couple thoughts are running through my head, is that it needs to be it has to be publicly available, so it can't be just blindly submitted. So you as a
Can we-
trustee, you need to,
Can we publish them in the minutes?
well, it wouldn't be part of the minutes, but you would need to attach your name as a trustee to the ranking and submit that to the clerk so that the public could have access to that. If they so chose, they could ask for a copy of it.
Okay.
So that would be one aspect of it. And then the trustees could not discuss who their preferences are, because you would run into a walking quorum type situation. So you would just communicate that to the clerk. And then I would think the clerk could communicate that out as to who would then be scheduled for interviews at the April meeting.
What about the
Or
trustees?
I'm sorry, the August 4th meeting.
What about the trustees who aren't here? Leah and Holly?
The clerk could talk to them to inform them of the process. I'm looking down the aisle to my partner Tim to see if he's ever seen this done and whether there's any additional bumpers we should think about.
And then the public has an opportunity to determine who ranked whom in what order. I think you're good.
Okay, I'm just trying to be sensitive to missing 2 people today, and I want them to have a say in who gets interviewed, which is why the delay.
Yes, I think that's good so that everyone has input. The
Right.
other alternative is you could always call a special meeting to discuss that ranking as well, but that would be up to you.
So are we saying that, if I understand, to best comply with what you're saying on public and open, we should pass that information along tonight? So it could actually be, that part of the 4 could be part of the minutes?
If you have, if as the members that sit here tonight, if you know
Our ranking?
your ranking, if you, agree with this process, you should so
Right.
indicate.
Okay.
And then if you know your individual ranking and are prepared to share that as part of the public process, that's certainly probably good in terms of transparency. But then otherwise, you would need to get that information to the clerk.
Right, so I have my list. So if I'm following what you're saying on the process, do I pass that top 5 over to Jen now without naming them? Or are you saying I should sit here and publicly say, here's my top 5? Which is best comports with this open meeting requirements and stuff?
Well, I think either process would comport as
Okay.
long as your name is attached to that list.
Okay.
And the public can request copies of that
can
list.
see it
And
on the
if you were
minutes.
so inclined, you could
Okay.
indicate who your what your ranking
Right.
is now as well. That would be up to the
Up to-
board. You could actually ask for as a board, you could say, we would like the members who are here to give us that ranking now, if you're so inclined.
I guess I have some perspective on this, and it really results from my observing a process like this when Bob Bradley resigned. It was a little bit different because it had to do with choosing, voting on who would be the village president. And to me, it was unfortunate because it was done in public. And this isn't quite the same, but it required people to state publicly, I'm voting for this person, I'm voting against that person, and then they had to continue to work together. So I understand that it needs to be public, but my preference would be to at least attach it to the minutes so that we don't have to sit up here and say who we're, especially since 2 of the trustees are missing and are going to provide their input, as I understand it.
That would be up to the board to set that process, but the one thing I just want to mention is this is not a secret ballot voting
Right.
situation.
Right.
The votes ultimately would need to be public when the selection process happens.
Right.
And the process of determining and winnowing should be a public process.
Okay, so again, I have a list also. Nancy does, I don't know if Mike does. Mike
No, I
doesn't.
wasn't sure of the
Okay.
process yet.
So we can't really complete it tonight, but, so I think what we need to do is to, one, agree on the process. So I'll move to agree on the process as proposed by Prescott.
We've got more
hold-
process
hold-
to
hold-
it.
Hold on, before your motion, Jen has some questions.
Do you want to set a deadline for the submissions by the other trustees that are not present?
Yeah.
Yeah. When do we,
One week. 1 week
That
from
would
today.
leave only 1 week to notify the candidates of their,
That's fine.
so 1 week from today, so they need to submit them to me by 5 PM next week, Tuesday?
Yeah.
Yep.
but by the trustees, to be submitted by the
The other
trustees.
trustees that aren't here.
So before the motion,
Mm-hmm.
the other thing I want to make sure everybody's okay with is top 5 versus some other number, top 3, top 4. Is 5 okay?
Top 5 is fine with me.
My only comment on top 5 is we have 12, and I wondered if it was more community engagement if you want to go to say we would at least talk to half of the people. But I'm okay with 5, but that was where I was coming up with 6.
So when we get to the interview parts, if we're doing, say, a 5-minute intro to give a candidate 5
I know.
minutes to intro plus 15 minutes of Q&A, we're going to burn minimum 20 minutes
I know.
with each person. I thought times 4 was a reasonable duration to that. And then I chose 5 or suggested 5 to avoid too many ties down at the bottom of the list. So we had to do more than 4.
And I'm okay with it. I'm just saying that
Yeah.
was part of my thought process,
Yeah.
was trying, if we'd had 8, I would have said, 4, half, but that's all. I'm good with your 5.
You're good with 5?
I'm good with your 5.
Yeah, the more the better.
Okay. I think now we're ready for a motion.
I move to approve the process as described. Is that clear enough? Or
Would
do
you
we
like
need
me to
specify it?
read what okay. So I have a suggested process to narrow the selection to 4 candidates for interviews. Each trustee will provide 5 ranked choices and deliver that to the clerk to tabulate. Submissions shall not be blind, so they have their name attached to it. Absent trustees will be informed of the process by the clerk, so they may have an opportunity to submit their choices. The deadline for submissions is 5 PM on Tuesday, July 28th, 2026.
I'll second.
Any other discussion? All
Good with
those,
it, Mike?
all those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Motion passes.
Okay.
Do we need to talk about the process for post?
So we're gonna,
Or
is the current thought that we're gonna do the interviews on the 4th and then on the following meeting, we're going to decide?
Announce?
Okay, so why don't we have the discussion about the process for
You want to wait?
real vote at the next meeting with the interviews?
Mm-hmm.
I just wondered if we wanted the potential candidates to know what we're thinking.
That would require that we've thought that through.
I'm pushing at it. Okay.
It also would be only 4 of us deciding.
That's
really.
right. Yeah, I think it's better for that discussion that we have everybody here to decide.
It's
Okay.
unusual to be missing 2 trustees, really.
Okay. We are now done with new business unless somebody snuck another agenda item. Did we vote? Yeah, we did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we voted. Now, closed session.
right.
Village Board may take up a motion to go into closed session pursuant to 19.851E Wisconsin statute, deliberating or negotiating the purchasing of public properties, the investing of public funds, or conducting other specified public business whenever competitive or bargaining reasons require a closed session, specifically to discuss proposed terms for termination of the spectacular cooperative plan boundary agreement with the Village of Raymond as requested by the
The
town of
Village of-
Raymond? The
it
Village
should
of
be the
Raymond. It
Village
should
of
be the
Raymond.
village.
now.
Move to go into closed session.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
We have to do a
Oh,
roll
we have to,
call.
sorry.
Okay, President Ball,
Yes.
Trustee Lambert,
Yes.
Trustee Martin,
Yes.
Trustee Pierce.
Yes.
In closed.
Second.
All those in favor say aye.
Aye.
Aye. We are back in open session. Cow, actually, we're adjourned.
We're adjourned.
Do I have to formally,
You just
Oh,
say,
use your
do I have to
hand.
formally kill 9B or just ignore it?
Oh. What's
no,
that?
that's implied. You don't have to do it.
All right. Can I do the thing here?
This is the part where we
Just whack it.
Yeah.
Now
Do I have
just
to
whack
wait?
it.
Yeah.
We're adjourned.